Hi, it's Terence Wallace. Welcome to my podcast series, Stories from the Road. In 2014, I left the corporate world behind to begin my own business, Indelible Adventures Inc. This is a culmination of my writing, photography, speaking, and travel. Stories from the Road is a culmination of some of those stories that I've experienced along the way. I hope you enjoy them. Join me this week as we explore New York City, one of my favorite cities in the United States. As you probably realize by now, I often travel with my two teenage kids. And in this visit to New York City, Sammy and I had a wonderful weekend exploring the city itself. It was absolutely fantastic to be able to spend 3 full days hanging out with my beautiful daughter in such an interesting place. After all, New York City is New York City and has so much to offer in terms of just being itself. Its sheer size, the cacophony of sounds, its pungent and exotic smells. Yeah, I'm talking Chinatown now. The nerve-tingling visual images of the Big Apple can only be seen to be believed. It's a phenomenal city and something unto itself. We caught the afternoon flight from Toronto and arrived into New York City around 4 p.m, catching a cab into our hotel on West Side down by the financial district. We like this locale because Lower Manhattan is far enough away from the craziness of Midtown and Times Square, where many of the hotels are situated, but still provides that truly New York City flavour. After freshening up, we decided to walk down to Little Italy for dinner and ended up walking through Chinatown on our way. It's such an eye-opening experience at best of times, but I must admit, it's a tad smelly on a warm spring afternoon, so Sam and I were not overly impressed with the detour, although I'm sure she likes seeing it. Not too sure about smelling it though. Afterwards, we had a wonderful meal at Il Cortile on Mulberry Street in the heart of Little Italy, before grabbing some cannolis for our dessert as we strolled back to our hotel. The evening was a perfect temperature. It was such a great way to start the weekend. Saturday morning saw us up and early, headed out to Tribeca for breakfast at Sarah Beth's on Greenwich Street. The portion sizes were much bigger than our tummies could handle, so afterwards we had to walk through Soho toward Broadway to digest our breakfast. One of our favourite places to people watch, yes, Sammy is an avid people watcher as well, is Dean and DeLuca's on the corner of Prince and Broadway. And so by the time we made our way over there, I was ready for a pastry and a latte. Come on, it took us a while to stroll over, so I wasn't feeling bad about eating again so soon after the huge breakfast at Sarah Beth's. It's always packed with locals doing their weekly shop, as well as out-of-towners like us who are content to have a coffee and watch the world go by at their leisure. It just feels so homely. After people watching for a few minutes and with latte in hand, we decided to walk up Broadway to the NYU bookstore. Sam loves university bookstores because she can buy whatever she wants in terms of clothing there. And she'd always wanted to come to New York and study and or live after she's finished university. What a wonderful dream to have. After spending some time at the NYU bookstore, we continued walking up to Union Square before arriving at the Flatiron Building on the corner of Fifth Avenue and Broadway around lunchtime. We then realized that we had a show to catch, so quickly caught the subway back to our hotel before cabbing it to the Broadhurst Theatre on 44th Street for our Broadway matinee. Each time we go to New York City, Sam always wants to catch a Broadway show, and this time was no exception. We had seats for Mamma Mia. Orchestra, 5th row center, just the perfect location. Close enough to get the full effect, but not too close to get sweat flung on us from the performers. That girl has incredible instincts, and I'm not sure we could have got better seats. Plus, ABBA never goes out of style. You know what I mean? As a special treat, Sam asked if we could go back to the Tribeca Grill for dinner, just like we did on our last visit. So after our matinee and a rest back at the hotel, we went for dinner, again up in Greenwich Village. No surprise that both the food and the ambience was fabulous and the conversation thick and fast. We waddled back to the hotel completely full, and now, although I've now realised that Sammy has the ability to consume Haagen-Dazs ice cream even after an enormous meal. Seriously, I'm not sure where she puts all that food, but got to love her enthusiasm for desserts. Sunday morning saw us up early again, and this time we went to Balthazar Bakery on Spring Street, which is quite close to Dean and DeLuca's for breakfast. Love the vibe and the amazing scrambled eggs with croissants. They were so delicious. Afterwards, we made our way up Broadway to Fifth Avenue, and from there we power shopped our way all the way up to Central Park. I think it's official. I've been to every Forever 21, Urban Outfitters, Brandy Melville, and American Apparel in Manhattan, all the way to Central Park. But a fun day nonetheless. Over the years, Sam and I have been to New York City many, many times, and always loved the vibe from this vibrant and energetic city. Sometimes we stay on the Upper West Side at the Beacon Hotel near Central Park. Now, if you're into art, obviously the Guggenheim up on Central Park East is fantastic. Each time I've been to New York, there's always been a different exhibition at the Guggenheim. And not only is it the Guggenheim, the exhibition is incredible, but just the general architecture of this stunning building, just something worth visiting. Another of our favourites was MoMA, the Museum of Modern Art, up on Central Park East as well. Just a beautiful old building with fantastic art. Every type of genre and type of art that you can imagine is displayed in MoMA, and well worth the day to spend there. A couple of other recommendations in New York City is, if you have the opportunity to walk the Brooklyn Bridge, please do it. Take the subway south down to City Hall and then look for the signs for the Brooklyn Bridge. It's a beautiful walk in the morning, either walk over and back or walk all the way over and then into Brooklyn. While you're there, obviously Greenpoint is another great place, the Brooklyn Navy Yards. The Brooklyn Navy Yards is quite fascinating in that now it's become a high-tech hub and incubator. So it's rather than naval yards, it's now a high-tech area, which is really good because it's redeveloping this part of Brooklyn. Fantastic. One of my other personal favorites is to visit the Dumbo, or down under the Manhattan Bridge overpass. This is the iconic shots that you'll often see in movies, with the Manhattan Bridge in the background between these old red brick buildings. Another beautiful spot to visit. Great place to wander with coffee. Terrific little boutiques and coffee shops over in Brooklyn at the Dumbo, and not too far from the Brooklyn side of the Brooklyn Bridge or the Manhattan Bridge. It's sort of equidistant between both, but both fantastic to go visit. Now, if you're in New York over the weekend, definitely worth an opportunity to drop down to Union Square for the farmers market on Saturday mornings. I know they have it during the week as well, but Saturday mornings is chock full of people wandering, great local produce, fantastic flowers, just a nice way to spend the Saturday morning. I think one of the things I love most about New York City is that whether you're in Greenwich Village or on the Upper West Side, or in the Financial District or in Midtown, each area of the city has its own vibe and energy. Each have their own restaurants, their different ethnic groups or ethnic leanings. Each area is just so vastly different, and you can wander and explore all of that in one day. It's just an incredible city for that. And seemingly every time I go to New York City, I discover something completely new. It's just one of those great cities of the world. And I would highly recommend that if you ever get the chance to go to New York City, take it. And subways are completely safe, take the subway. But I would also encourage you to walk the High Line, walk the streets, get down and dirty into the neighborhoods, and explore some of the food scenes for each of them, because you'll be so glad that you did. Now, I was going to talk about Harlem, which is one of my other favorite neighborhoods in New York City, but I think I'm going to save that for a future podcast, because Harlem unto itself has a completely different energy to it, and one which I just love. So I'm going to leave that for a next podcast, but thanks for listening, and I hope you have a great day. Ciao. If you'd like to learn more about Indelible Adventures or the services we provide, please visit our website at www.indelibleadventures.com. Well, thanks for listening, and until next time, ciao.